In this video, we are going to understand scope and difference between var, let and const. So the first one says guess the output. Here we are defining three different variables using let, const and var. And we are saying console log windows.firstName. So let's just try to understand what is happening here. So here we'll go ahead and define three different variables. Every browser has an object known as window. That is a global object that is present in every browser. So here we can say window.known as. So we can see the value no one. But what happens when we say window.firstName? It returns undefined. Because what is happening here is whenever you define a variable using var, it gets attached to the window object, but with let and const that doesn't work like that. So it doesn't get attached to the window object. So here window.firstName, window is an object, you're looking for a property that doesn't exist inside window, so you're getting the value undefined. So here the output will be, the first one will be undefined, second one will be undefined, and third one will be no one. Moving on to next, here we are saying window.fullName. So fullName is a function. Function also gets attached to the window. So if you want to see that, let's copy this function and paste it here. We can say window.fullName and we can call it. You can see it here. And here we are saying first name and last name. We are not saying window.firstName and window.lastName. So we can directly access array and stack and the output will be array stack. If you want to check it, let's go ahead and check the output. It is already defined because last time we did it. So let's refresh it and press enter. We can see array stack here. Moving on next is make an execution context diagram for the following JavaScript and write the output. So you guys can go ahead and create the execution context diagram because for you it will be a lot of practice. What I'm going to do here is to convert this code of how it will be interpreted by the engine. So first in declaration phase, we'll see a function declaration add one, a variable declaration one. It is defined using var. So we'll just copy this here and we'll try to implement it here. So first in declaration phase, we will see a function declaration add one, a variable declaration one, and we know that when you define a variable using var, it will be initialized with undefined. Similarly, we'll have another variable called 2 that will be undefined. And here instead of var, we'll just say 1 is equal to this. So in declaration phase, this will happen. In execution phase, this will happen. So now if you execute it, what do you find it here? So 1, calling add 1 0, it will be 1. Similarly, passing 1, it will return 2. So the output here will be 2. If you want to check this, copy it, paste it here, press enter, 1 and 2. Moving on to next, here, let's just create how it will be interpreted in the browser. So we have a variable declaration here. So we'll just say undefined. It will say 1 is equal to, but it will happen in execution phase. In declaration phase, it will move forward. Again, this will move forward here and the value will be undefined right now. And here we'll say 2 is equal to this. So if you look at this code, 1 is happening here, 2 is happening here, and we are doing it here. Oh, we just messed it up here. Let's move it down. So this will happen in declaration phase and this will happen in execution phase. Now we are saying 1, passing 0, it will work properly and the output will be 1 and 2. Let's copy this code and paste it. 1, 2. Moving on to next, execution context diagram for this one. Let's just copy it. We are saying console log add 1. So first we are looking for declaration, so it will move on the top. Here we are looking for another variable declaration, so it will move on the top here with a value of undefined. And here we'll say 2 is equal to this. So this will happen in declaration phase and rest of it will happen in execution phase. So here we are saying console log add 1. So add 1 is present 0 and it will log the value 1. 2 is equal to add 1. 2 is not, there is no any value, so it will be add 1, it will return 2. In console log, we'll see the value 2. So this is what will happen. Let's just see, press enter, and we can see the value 1, 2. Again, let's go ahead and copy it. The first thing that will happen is a variable 1 will be initialized with undefined. In declaration phase, it will be 1 is equal to this, but here we have another declaration, so we'll say const add 1, and it will not be initialized to any variable because we are using const here. Similarly, add 2 will move here and the value of that will be undefined, and here we can just remove the definition. So this is what will happen. Now we are saying const add 1, and look at this, what is happening. We have a variable add 1. It doesn't know what it is right now, but here we are saying add 1 and we are calling it like a function. Will it work? No. It will throw an error, add 1 is not defined. Refresh it, paste it here, it will throw an error, access to add 1 before initialization. So you cannot use a variable before initialization. That's why it's throwing an error saying add 1, you cannot use it before initialization. Moving on to next here, let's just copy it. We're saying console log. So it will stay here. The first thing that will go on top is the definition of const add 1. And here add 1 will be like this. So we have two declaration, var2 and const 1. So 2 will be undefined and this will not get initialized to any variable. So remove var. Now we are calling add 1 again before that. So it will throw the same error. Cannot access add 1 before initialization. Refresh it, paste it, and it has the same error. Now it is asking what will be the output of the following. So here is calling the function is awesome. Call it variable awesome. If it is false, obviously it is not going to execute. The variable awesome, it will have a value of undefined. So let's just copy and paste it. It is undefined. It's just logging the value undefined, not returning anything. Again, here, if true, we are saying awesome is equal to true. Let, and then we are going to log the value this. So it will return the value true. That is what happening here. Moving on to next, what will be the output here? So we are calling this function, we are calling it, if it is false, and we are looking for the value of awesome again, but it is defined using let. So we are saying console log let, and there is no value to awesome. So it will, so there is no value initialized to it, so it will return undefined. That is what is happening. Understand what is happening here. So we already did let awesome. So variable got created, but we are not assigning any value actually. So because of that, the value of undefined gets assigned in the execution phase, not in the declaration phase. And that's why it is undefined. Here we are saying logging the function fullName with firstName and lastName, that is aria and stack. We are passing it, name will be aria stack and console log name, it will be aria stack. Moving on to next, here we are calling the function console log with name. Name is not present here, so it will say name is not defined. We are looking for the value of name. It is inside a block. var doesn't create a block scope, so the output will be aria stack. We are looking for name. Name is inside block. Let creates the block inside. Let's create the scope inside block, so it will be name is not defined. Here we are saying var I. Var doesn't create scope inside block, so I will have access to I, and that will be 20. Let's check it. That is 20. Perfect. Here we are defining it using let. Let creates scope if defined inside block, so I is not defined. Moving on to next, we are calling the function sample. Inside sample, if true, it is a block scope, so it will be defined outside of this scope. So the value of this will be Jon Snow. Same case here, like sample is called, we are using let. So it will throw an error, username is not defined. Here we are calling this function, we are using the variable. So here we have a variable username. Here we have another variable with the same name username, but the value of that is Jon Snow right now. We are logging the value username. So first it will log the value Jon Snow, and second, it will also log the value Jon Snow, because we are creating the value because we are creating the variable using var. Let's just copy it and see. In second case also it is Jon Snow, in this first case also it is Jon Snow, because this is block scope. Var doesn't create scope inside block. Calling function sample, let username, in this scope it is username, in this scope it is Jon Snow. So here it is aria stack, here it is Jon Snow. So first will be Jon Snow and second will be aria stack. We are calling the function with first, second and third. So here we are passing all the arguments. We are looping over all of it. I value is 0. So we'll write the message is equal to hello, I am argument 1, first, second and third, and console log the message. So it will be hello, I am first, second and third. That we can see it here. Here we are defining the message const. The only difference from here and here is like const, we are using it here, and here we are using let. You can think like you cannot reassign the value of message, but here all these three loops, we are creating a different message variable. So it will work properly and it will have the same message as earlier. So refresh it, paste it here, and you can see hello, I am first. Here we are saying if true, this is a block scope. So const will create a scope here, my func. Then we are calling username. Username is not defined inside this scope, so it will throw an error. Username is not defined. Here, username is not initialized at all. So here we can see that in declaration phase, let username will come on top, but it will not get initialized. So that's why it will throw an error. You cannot access a variable before initialization. Cannot access username before initialization. We are accessing it before initialization. If it would come down, it will have hello world. We are calling the function outer. We are calling inner. Inner is logging the value. I'm saying I love this movie called Mad Max Fury Road in uppercase. It will have access to movie because it is in the parent. So if it is looking for the variable, it will bubble out to the parent looking for the variable. Here movie is before sunrise. So in this scope, when this function is called, I love this movie called before sunrise. So Mad Max will be overshadowed by this one because they are two different scope. Right now I'm executing in this scope. So the output will be I love this movie called before sunrise. That is what we see it here. Guess the output and the reason behind that. So here we are calling outer. Inside outer we are calling inner. Inside inner we are calling extra inner. We are coming to extra inner. We are saying I love this movie called. So Gone Girl is here. So in this scope, so it will be the output will be I love this movie called Gone Girl. This is the last one. It says using reduce find the final value when the initial value passed is 100. You have to pass the output of one function into the input of next function in the array. So all function in the array starts with add 1 and ends with half. So this one is happening. So what we can do is like we can say all function dot reduce, because we are reducing a value. Here reduce accepts two parameter, accumulator and initial value will be 100. So accumulator, we have it here, current value is a function. What we need to do, we need to call the current value with the accumulator, and whatever getting returned become the next value of accumulator. So that is all. Like once this is done, it will work properly, I think. Refresh it, paste it here, 447. What is the output we need? So the answer says 447. If you're still getting confused, what is happening is whatever gets returned from this function becomes the next value of accumulator. So think about it. The first value is 100. Add 1 will be 101. So that will be the next value of accumulator. So that will be passed again here. That will be the next value of accumulator. Passed here, and keep going on. So in that way, we completed this exercise.